Hey guys, my name is Bryozoa, Bryozoa phylactolemata. I live in fresh water. Quite the crazy name. It comes from my ancestors about 485 million years ago in the Ordovician period. Other members of my family, such as Stenolemata, live in the ocean, or Gymnolemata, who come to visit the freshwater sometimes, but also live in the ocean. In this picture here, I have an old family tree with some of my common friends and family. The 5 main groups in red are all different kinds of Bryozoa like me. Cyclostomata is similar, but not quite like a Bryozoa. Think of it as the weird mother-in-law of the family.
What's great about being a Bryozoa is I get to see my family all of the time. And we all live together, too. Our home looks like a giant jelly raspberry stuck just in the water. They're kind of squishy when you pick them up, but don't pick them up, it'll disturb us. And speaking of food, I'm hungry, but us Bryozoa are really lazy when it comes to gathering our own food. So we just sort of wait around until our food is within arm's reach, which we have tentacles. My favorite food is different microorganisms in the water. And it's great that we don't have to pay for gas when we want to move because we just kind of go with the flow of the water that we're in, that is. Some of my friends, homes actually look way different than mine. While mine is just a giant jelly raspberry, some of them live in moss, or what looks like moss on rocks. And one of my friends even lives in a home that looks like a deer's antler. But while we all look big, when we're all together, we're actually really small. Each of us is what's known as a zooid, and we all join together to form a big colony with all of our family. But we all have to hold on to for dear life so we don't fly away with our little legs called cystids.
Bryozoas are mostly immobile. Sometimes groups of bryozoa move about between sand grains and creep around. Why did a bryozoa cross the road? Because it was incrustated on a chicken's leg. You guys have Uber Eats. Sometimes food doesn't reach me for days. How do you guys manage that? Sometimes we break up our colony and create a new one. The Lophophorate phyla had traditionally been regarded as deuterosomes, the only freshwater invertebrate representatives based on their patterns of early development. Individual zooids can reproduce in multiple ways. One way is through a process called budding, which is asexual reproduction, in which a new organism develops from an outgrowth or bud due to cell division at one particular site. They are basically clones. Imagine being around yourself forever. What a pain.
In this phylogenetic tree, you can see me compared to all other animals across the globe. As you can see, I'm closely related to squids, crayfish, and perch. I evolved from the same evolutionary branch that split off into a different subcategory of sea stars, worms, and sea cucumbers. We don't really like each other that much. Also, it's important to keep in mind that this phylogenetic tree is just a hypothesis, as all phylogenetic trees are. For one, it's very difficult for me to go out and meet people on the weekends. Because of the whole immovable animal and all. In this phylogenetic tree, you can see me, the Bryozoa, compared to many other organisms we examined in the lab this week. A lot of these organisms were cut and dissected. I'm very glad I wasn't one of those. Lastly, in the 1950s, I used to manage a band called the Champs. And to send our thank yous, we would like to preview one of our songs. Thank you to Professor Kuzmenko, Caroline Aaron, Dr. Willett, and Seaver College of Science and Engineering. Bryozoa.